What word? I want to know what word. Michael, what word is it?
Is it a diameter?
BC only goes from the center to the circle, so that is a
Oh,
Radius.
radius.
On part E, you have AD, which goes all the way across the circle through the center. So that one is the
Diameter.
diameter. And then on E, segment AB, Mia, is a what?
A chord.
A chord. Good. Okay. So that was number 1. So everybody should have all the answers for number 1. Okay. Now, number 2, we're talking about arc measure. When you're talking about the arc measure, if it's a central angle, an angle whose vertex is at the center of the circle, which in this case, the center is point C. If you're talking about the central angle and its arc, they are equal to each other. If you're talking about an inscribed angle whose vertex is on the circle and its arc, then the angle is half of the arc, or the arc's twice as big as the angle measure. So looking at number 2, on part A, it wants to know the measure of angle of arc ABD. So if you look at the picture and you follow it around, ABD is half the circle. Since it's half the circle, we know that's equal to 180 degrees. It has a special name called a semicircle, right? Part B says measure of arc AB. So if you look at arc AB, you'll see that it's part of that semicircle we just named. Now, it told you that BD in the picture was how long? How long was
64.
BD? Anybody?
$64.
64. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 180 minus 64, and that's going to tell you the measure of arc AB. Because remember, together we said that they were equal to 180. So I took 180 minus 64. And so measure of AB will be 116 degrees. Then on the next one for part C, the measure of arc ADB. So if you look at ADB, that's starting at the bottom at point A, going around the circle up to D, down to B. So remember, from here to here is half the circle again, 180, plus this part, which it said was 64. So we're going to take 180 plus 64 for part C and get what?
244.
44 degrees. Okay. Now remember, since we're reviewing, that means you all still have quizzes that you're going to have to take. We're still working on getting them fixed. We finally figured that out. So next week is going to be all quizzes and tests. So you need to be paying attention. Make sure you know what these parts are in the review, unless you've got all your other stuff done. On number 3, we're going backwards. We're finding the angle measures. So on part A, it wants to know the measure of angle ADE. If you look at ADE, you have a diameter with the tangent. Remember, with the diameter and the tangent, or a radius and the tangent, are always what to each other? What's that long P word?
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular. So if they're perpendicular, remember, that means they make right angles or 90-degree angles. Then on part B, it says the measure of angle BCD. If you look at BCD, it is the central angle that goes with arc BD. So the central angle and its arc are congruent or equal to each other. So it's going to be 64 degrees. And then for part C, it says the measure of angle DAB. DAB is an inscribed angle because its vertex is at A down here at the bottom of the circle, and the two sides are chords. So if it's an inscribed angle, it's equal to half of its arc. So in this picture, the arc it intercepts was 64 degrees. So it's half of 64 degrees, so it will be 32 degrees. All of these are things like we were working on when we were doing that arcs and angles worksheet last Friday as well. Okay, so you should be getting the answers for 1 through 3. We still got to do number 4. Number 4 says find each angle measure. The measure of angle ABC. ABC. If you look at it, we just found, okay, I'm going to try to halfway sketch this picture. No, I'm not good at these. We have the picture. We have the arc. We have the other one that goes across. It goes like that somehow. Anyway, that's the part we're looking at. This was 64, so we found this angle was 32. It wants to know this angle right now. Okay, so to find this angle right here, we know we can figure out this angle because we know what this arc was. Remember up here, we took 180 minus 64 and found out this part was 116. So half of 116 is what?
58.
58. So if this angle is 32 and this is 58, we can find the measure of angle ABD. Okay, because the angles in a triangle all add to equal 180. So for 4 part A, you'll have 180 minus the 58 plus the 32. So you add the 58 and 32 together first, and then subtract it from 180. And you hopefully should get, am I looking at the right angle? Am I looking at the right angle? I'm trying to see. I don't think I'm looking at the right angle. Oh, that's your. Let me look at that again. Okay, I'm looking at my picture again, so I make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm trying to see over here. I have to leave the one light off so it doesn't glare quite as bad for you all. So we found the one that's 32. And we're looking for this one right here. Okay, all right. So we don't even have to do all that, because what do we know about this right here? It's a radius. What do we know about this right here? It's a radius. So the radii are what to each other? Congruent. So if this angle is 32, this angle is going to be 32. So we didn't even have to do all that. I wasn't looking at the right one. All right. And then AEB. AEB is an angle outside. AED is this angle that's outside here. So when we're talking about the angle outside, remember, do you take half of the sum or half of the difference of the two arcs that it intercepts? Do we do half of the sum or half of the difference? If the angle's
Difference.
outside the circle, you do half of the difference. So you're gonna do half of the difference of the arcs that this angle intersects. So this angle cuts off this arc right here, which we know is 64 degrees. And it cuts off this arc right here, which this is half the circle, so it's 180. So I will have half of 180 minus 64. So 180 minus 64, we'd already put on as 116. And then half of 116 is 58. So that was part B. See, I was looking at the wrong thing when I was looking at the other one. That's why I was getting ahead of myself. Okay. So everybody's got 1 through 4? Now we're looking at 5 through 9. On 5 through 9, it says you've got circle P, PM is equal to PN, so that means that the two chords are equidistant from the center of the circle. Okay, so you have your circle. You have the radius up there, and you have the radius going down here. Okay, this is perpendicular to that. Okay, this is P, M, and this is JL. Okay, and okay, so that's what we have for our picture. Okay, so this is our picture we're using for 5 through 9. Trying to get where it's in between the glares. Okay, so when we're looking at these, it told us in the direction up there that this was congruent to that. Okay, so we had a lot of theorems about chords, okay, and the radius that if they're equidistant, we know that the chords are going to end up being the same length and all this kind of stuff. All of these are theorems that you have on your notes from this chapter. So that's what we're using to work on these, okay? So on number 5, it says if FH is 30, find HN and JL. Well, HN is half of FH. So if the whole thing's 30, half of it's going to be what? If the whole thing's 30, half of it will be
15.
15. Okay? Because when you have the chords perpendicular to the radius, remember it also bisects these chords in half. This is all theorems that we had back from like the first couple of sections of the chapter. Okay? Now, we'd also know, we already talked about if the equidistant, then that means the two chords are equal. So when it asks for the length of JL, that's the other thing it asks for, it's also going to be 30. And I think it's in centimeters. So y'all remember, we're supposed to put our units on our answers. Okay? So then number 6. Number 6 says it's ML, so that's half of this is 23. We need to find JL, the whole thing, and FN, which is half of this one. So what we're going to start with first for JL, we're going to take 2 times 23 and get what? This one was feet, so it's 46 feet. And then FN up here, is FN the whole thing? FN's not the whole thing, it's only half of it. So half of that is going to be what? Is what we had here. 23 feet. Okay. Number 7. Number 7. It says JL is 32. Right? So this whole thing is 32. It tells you PN is 12. and it wants to know PK and MK. Okay. Michael, really? Do I look like I'm laughing? Yeah, I've had my face too. Okay.
Oh, Michael, you're going to once get in trouble.
Now, are y'all going to participate, or are you just going to do it on your own, have to take pictures and send it to me? Because I can just log off right now and y'all be on your own. All right. On number 7, this is 32, this whole piece. Pn is 12. So from here to here is 12. So from here to here is 12. We know that's congruent to Pm. So Pm is also 12. Okay, so this part's also 12. We know the whole thing is 30. So half of it's what? 15. What are we supposed to be finding? PK and MK? Is that right? I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know from here to here is another radius. That radius would be equal to P and K. Okay, so what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up using that Pythagorean theorem. We know if this whole thing is 30, half of it's 15. So we know this part's 15, this part's 12, and we're looking for the hypotenuse, the length of a radius. So what we're going to do on number 7 is you're going to have 12 squared plus 15 squared equals x squared. I'm going to move that down so you can see where I'm at. Okay, where you can still see the picture. Okay, so everybody, 12 squared is
144.
4, 15 squared, 225, and that's equal to x squared. So we're ready to go ahead and add these together. So 144 and 225.
369.
369, right? Yeah, what are we doing? Wait a minute, did I write the numbers down right? No, see, you all sat there and let me do that. All right, this was 32, not 30. Of course, that's when I got distracted with corn pineapple. I apologize to the girls for having to deal with them. All right, so half of 32 is 16. So we have 16 squared. 16 times 16 is
256.
256. There we go. Okay, because this was actually 32, and I kept saying 30 because that's when I was being distracted. So we add those together and get 400. So 400 equals x squared. And then the opposite of squaring something is taking our square root. So square root of 400 is 20. So the radius is 20. So if from here to here is 20, from P to K will also be 20, whatever units it was. Was it inches? Yeah, inches. Okay, so PK is going to be 20 inches. Now, we know PM was 12 inches, so it also wanted MK, so 20 minus 12 equals 8 inches. So those are your 2 answers that you needed for number 7. After we got the right number in the problem, it helped. Okay? Everybody got that? Okay? Trying to get where you can still see it and halfway see the picture. So on number 8, it said if PK is 10, so that's a radius is equal to 10, and MK, the little piece down there is 6. Find NP and FN. So the whole thing here, all right, I have a picture here. All right. The whole thing, it said, was 10, and this part's 6. So if this part's 6 and the whole thing's 10, this would be 4, right? Everybody agree with that one? I'm labeling that one right. It wants me to find this one, NP, and this one. Well, 10 minus 6 gave me this is 4, so I know that 1 is easy. PN is equal to 4 meters, I think is what units it had. Yes, for number 8. Now to find this one, we're gonna have to do the Pythagorean theorem again. From here to here is another radius. If this radius was equal to 10, this radius up here is 10. So I have, this is 10, this is 4, and I'm looking for a leg. So I'm gonna have 4 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. I'm using my Pythagorean theorem again. 4 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. Okay, so 4 squared is 16. 10 squared is 100. Remember, your goal is always to get the variable by itself. The opposite of squaring something is square root, but I got to get rid of the 16 over to the other side first. So I subtract 16 first and have x squared equals 84. And then I take the square root. Now, when I go to take the square root, 84 is not a perfect square. But I do know that 4 goes into it. 4 goes into 8 twice, 4 goes into 4 once. So 21 isn't a perfect square. I can't break it down anymore because it breaks down to 3 and 7, no perfect squares. 4 is, so I can take the square root of 4, which is 2, so I get 2 square root of 21 meters. If I subtracted that one. Everybody's got number 8?
Yep.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Pedro, I should see you, not your little doggy. All right, our number 9, find F. JL equals x squared x minus 1, and FH equals x squared minus 5x plus 27. So what do we know about the two chords? Two chords are supposed to be what to each other?
What?
The two chords are supposed to be what to each other?
Perpendicular.
No, this is a chord and this chord. These two chords are what to each other?
For some reason, I thought I had a sniper.
Congruent.
Congruent. They're going to be congruent to each other. So for our equation for number 9, we're going to set the two things they give us equal to each other. Okay. We're going to have, what was it, x squared plus 8x minus 12 is equal to x squared minus 5x plus 27. Okay, we're setting them equal to each other. And we're going to get all the x's together, all the constants together, solve to get x by itself. So right here, when we start on this one, I have the x squareds here, so I got to get them together first. So when I go to subtract this here and move it to the other side, it's going to go poof on both sides, which is good because you don't want to have to deal with the x squared. That should make you happy that it went away. Okay? Now, for the next one, I've got a minus 5x, so to move it to the other side, we add 5x. So 8x plus 5x is 13x minus 12 equals 27. Now, our goal, remember, is to still to get the x by itself. So the opposite of subtracting We're gonna add 12. Goes poof, so I have 13x equals 39. I have multiplication. To make multiplication go away, you do its opposite, which is division. I'm gonna divide by 13. And so you get x is 3. Now, the problem didn't ask us for x. The problem asked us to find the length of Fn, which is half of one of the chords. Fn is just this 1/2 of the chord. So what I gotta do is I gotta take this 3 and plug it back in to the chord where I had FH, which was this one. So I'll have 3 squared minus 5 times 3 plus 27, because that was FH. And then I'm going to divide it in half, and that will be my FU. Okay, so 3 squared is 9. 5 times 3 is 15. So 9 is 15. -6. -6 plus 27 is 21.
21.
And then now I'm taking half of 21. So 21 divided by 2 for Fn will be 10.5. And they didn't have, so it's just 25. Okay. So that was number 9. Okay. Okay, everybody got that at least 1 through 9, yes? Yes? We got that part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so with these, remember we're working on the green pages to review. You were supposed to have done 1 through 32. And then also working on 36 through 42. Okay, 1 through 32 and 36 through 42. So what I would like for you all to do, okay, because you all still don't have any quizzes or anything to work on yet, is I want you to actually work on doing these problems. You trying them using your notes, okay, looking back in the book at these sections and working on these, okay? We've done 1 through 9, but I want you to try 10 through 32 and 36 through 42. Next week, when we log in again on Tuesday, remember you don't log in tomorrow. Tomorrow you get Good Friday off, extra long weekend, okay? Yay. So when we log in on Tuesday, you need
Yay!
to try them, because I'm going to be calling on people to give me an answer. And I want a somewhat reasonable answer. I don't know, I didn't do it, miss, etc., etc.
Hey, Joe.
So please.
Hey, I do my work, so don't be blaming on me.
So now remember, if you've got your worksheet and stuff done and you know how to take pictures of that and send it to me through your My School Works email, that would be great. Any of your book work that's already finished that you can take pictures of and send it to me through My School Works email would be great, because the more of that I can go ahead and get graded this weekend, then the better off we'll be. Okay, so everybody knows what I expect you to try to work on, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're all okay. We're going ahead and getting off here because I have to go help with the food truck for Compassion Avenue. So be good.
Can I go help out?
Weekend, what?
Can I go help out?
I don't know, because I haven't been over there yet. I don't know what we're doing yet. So he just pulled
Oh,
up.
man.
Oh, man. All right, so y'all be good. Some of you need to work on being good. And we'll see you on.
Hey, Michael.
Pedro.
What's up?
I'll go to your house later.
For what?
You already know.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Oh, shush. All right. Monica, you good with chemistry?
Bye,
Yes,
Miss Haha.
miss.
Okay.
Yes, miss, but I have a question.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, wait. I'm ready for quiz 24. I don't know. Wait.
Quiz 24, I think, would be the next one. Chapter 16.
Yes.
Okay, so you're already ready for that?
Yes.
Okay, do you
Yes.
know how to take
24.
pictures to send me your